Today's video, we're going to talk about Scentbird and whether the CEO is a possible cult leader or cult leader in the making. So we're going to take a look at this video. I don't know this channel, by the way. Her name is Nor Jasmine. So her handle is, it's at Nor Jasmine. I've never watched this person before, but they have like 200,000 subscribers, so I'm sure they're good. Just an FYI, I'm just pulling this is clipped out of a recent live that we did, since somebody was asking me to kind of cover sponsorships and stuff and the problems that arise out of them. Especially you see a lot of true crime sponsors cover these different products. So we kind of got on this topic during a live, and I just wanted to pull it into its own video. For those that are new to my channel, came from the Eleanor Neely video. Yes, I normally do like deep dive video essays, and I know that this stuff has not been my normal video essay. You can take a look at some of my old stuff. I recommend the Ashley Gillard one if you're interested in crime and TikTok and psychics and all that. But so yeah, just be patient with me. We're dealing with a lot of stuff in the paranormal community that I'm also part of, and it's just very time consuming. And so I'm just kind of releasing what I can when I can, and hopefully we'll get back to normal programming in February. Let's check this out, see what it's like.
My name is Maria. For the past 4.5 years, I've been building a company called Scentbird.
Hi, my loves. I figured I'd start sharing my personal stuff with you. Wouldn't that be amazing? I started hearing voices in my head, but not the kinds that you go and see the psychiatrist for.
I am a very evolved soul. I operate on the 11th dimension. You know, I'm pretty much towards the end of my personal evolution. But this is a complex operation. I have inherited thousands of different worlds. I operate a lot in the Milky Way galaxy, work very closely with the creators of the Milky Way galaxy. Earth is...
Yeah, this is the CEO of Scentbird. This is the CEO of Scentbird. Like, oh, thank you, Angie, for the $5 for amusing us on a Friday night. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this lady's nuts. Yeah.
It's a newly adopted planet for me. The way this mission gets implemented is I just need to...
I should do a deep dive on her, actually.
Find the right individuals that have influence. So I have full access to everything that was, that is, and that will be.
Nothing could have prepared me for my awakening.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Maria, and this channel is about spirituality.
Today, I wanted to talk to you about AI.
Today, we're talking about how your hair color impacts your energy. A lot of brown-haired people are very heart-led instead of intellect-led. Oh, I'm gonna get so much heat for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
You're very intellectual. Actually, the blue-eyed people are very connected to the intellect. Blue-eyed people may feel more connected to God.
Some people, when they are getting hits from wisdom teeth and those insights that come from wisdom teeth, how important it is for you to keep as many as your wisdom teeth for as long as possible.
Today, I want to talk about the CEO of Scentbird. Now, if you guys have watched my channel, you'll know that Scentbird has sponsored a lot of my videos. And what happened in the last video I did that was sponsored by Scentbird, I got comments for the first time of people trying to be like, oh, you know, you look into cults, you should look into the CEO of the people who sponsored this video.
Looks like I'm going to show this to my neighbor as she continues her monthly sub. Oh, yeah.
Video, since you want to talk about cults, why don't you talk about your sponsor, the CEOs in a cult? I was like, damn, like, really, this sucks. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck. Oh, no. I really like...
Yeah, like, I'm not saying that there isn't different dimensions. I do agree. And there's physics and there is math to back it, right? Although I think that they disproved string theory. I'm pretty sure. But regardless, doesn't matter. There's the other theories as well. Loop quantum gravity and stuff. Anyway, I do believe there's other dimensions, but from when I last looked at Scentbird. Now when I last looked at this was like 2 years ago. I've known that she's been a cult leader for a couple of years now. It's been like 3 years. I don't know. I think 2 years is when she came out, or when people like blasted it and the word got out. Yet people still continue to do Scentbird, I don't know, whatever, sponsors. So what was I going with this? Oh, the different dimensions that she's talking about aren't, when I saw her last, aren't they aren't like the physics dimensions, like the ones where like, yeah, that could make sense. Some of the science points to that. She's talking about like they're like alien wormhole dimension thingies, and she's talking to aliens and stuff. Like it's weird alien shit.
Scentbird, it's nice being sponsored. This gold doesn't buy itself. I understand why someone who's sponsored by Scentbird would not want to go and make a video about Scentbird. I understand why someone watching someone who talks about other people and is like, what?
Okay, Alyssa, yeah, have a good night. Yeah, like, but sure, I don't know what that that is, Taryn. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like if you can get sponsored, it's really nice because you can't rely on Google or AdSense. Like shit happens, and at least if if you have a sponsor, at least then it's like you're covered off for all the hard work, because there's a lot of work goes into making these videos. Like the video was supposed to release on Sunday, it was going to be small, and then it's turned into this bigger thing, and a bunch of stuff has happened, so like it's going to be delayed, but it's going to be a big video, right? So my point is, like, I totally get why you want a sponsorship. And the thing is too, I haven't looked at the Scentbird lady in a while. I don't know how many people she's hurting, or she's just hurting herself, because that's the other thing. Like if it's just she thinks she's talking to aliens, and if she's not scamming anyone, if nobody's getting hurt, then fine, do your like sponsorship. I would maybe do a sponsorship. It depends on who's getting hurt at this point. It's like a lot of people stop doing the what is it called? Fresh. What the fuck is this thing called? Hold on, it's on my thing. HelloFresh. So HelloFresh was outed. I feel like 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago or 1 year ago. They were outed for pretty much using like migrant labor, and paying them like 3 cents an hour. So you know what I mean? Like sweatshop level stuff. So they were kind of outed for that. And a big expose happened, and a lot of people wouldn't do sponsorships with them anymore. So then they started buying all the other meal kit companies, like all the other ones that you see showing up, they bought them. But when I've researched them, they have actually fixed the problem. They do pay people better now. They don't have this weird sweatshop path. They're branching out into like the factor meals, like the pre-prepared meals and stuff. So after their controversy, they've worked hard to try to get better. I'm not saying they're perfect. There's like obviously no one's perfect or whatever, but as far as when I last looked about a year ago, they seem to have been working really hard to get better at this, right? So it's like, yeah, when you take a sponsor, you got to kind of look at like what's going on with that sponsor, and do I want to support them? And like for channels like mine, or people that do video essays and we do exposés and things like that, it's like you've got to be really picky and choosy, because you don't want to look like a hypocrite for taking a sponsorship with someone who does the things that you're exposing, right? So it's a little bit like it's a little difficult to manage, but you really got to do your research on sponsors for sure.
Whatever, all of a sudden they feel like you should be talking about this person and they don't. And then they're like, is it because of the money? You sell out, And so I was like, ooh, am I a sellout? Or am I messy? What am I doing? Is this messy? Is that a sellout? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really was conflicted. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to approach it like I approach everything else, and just show you what I got. You decide for yourself. If you want to know what I think about it, this is my opinion, and that's it. Okay. So let's kind of start at the.
So she is going in saying that she does sponsorships with her. See, like, so this is interesting because when I last looked into her, it was 2 years ago and it was really loopy. So let's see what this girl has to say, what she's found.
Beginning of what I found. The CEO of Scentbird is Maria Nurislamova. So Maria Nurislamova was actually born in Russia. She, according to this article I found, they say she grew up in a dilapidated industrial town called Berezniki, right next to an infamous prison that housed some of the most dangerous criminals in Russia. Her father was a biology professor and had been stationed by the government at the local university. And growing up in this area was like tough, rough neighborhood. And they say that like when apparently when the prisoners got released, they didn't really have anywhere to go. So, you know, they would end up committing crimes in the area. And then one time Maria comes home and her home's been robbed by like one of these prisoners that was released. Apparently, Maria was also made fun of because she is ethnically Tartar, which is like an ethnicity in Russia that tend to have people with, I guess, darker complexion, darker eyes. And so she got made fun of in Russia for that. And basically she grew up isolated and she had this love for like fragrance and beauty and kind of lost herself in that. And that's kind of the beginning of her origin story. She talks a lot about how there was this popular fragrance called Red Moscow that was like very popular in Russia. It's very strong. It's like Chanel No. 5 and how she would spray it. And when she was like really, really young, and then that was her exposure to that. And she loved fragrances. And then her aunt went to France, Paris, I think. She came back with all these fancy perfumes. And that's when her love for fragrances really started. And she was also tutoring kids English when she was in Russia. And then from there, when she was 19 years old, she ended up coming to the States. Maria studied applied mathematics as well as marketing and computer science. She's not stupid, all of which she's going to use when she starts her startup, which is Scentbird. She had a few failed businesses before that, but obviously Scentbird is what we know her for. I guess you would call her a channeler. It's hard to describe because when you really get into her stuff, like the first video she did on YouTube, she's talking about like she's ayahuasca, that psychedelic, and like she is ayahuasca.
So on Earth, I've chosen to be a plant that needs to be turned into a drink. It's not the individual that chooses to take ayahuasca. Before somebody takes ayahuasca, I start calling on to them about 2 years before they actually end up drinking that cup, like from that cup. My energy is very precious in the universe because I'm working with so many different planets. I'm very selective with who I work with and who I share my energy with. I could have.
Yeah, so like I wonder if she did ayahuasca and then started this stuff up. Because I have heard, are we allowed to talk about ayahuasca on YouTube? I have no idea. I've heard like, and I've seen too, where some people are pretty reasonable people and then they go and do an ayahuasca thing and then they come out the other end like weird like this. And like a lot of them will get obsessed with ayahuasca and do it all the time. So I wonder if that's what started this whole thing. Yeah, she's crazy. Yeah.
Chosen to make the ayahuasca experience the most orgasmic.
But to be fair, like I know we all know Jacqueline Nunez. We're all aware of her mental issues and like she's got something going on, right? But like this woman is wackadoo here too. And she's still the CEO of Scentbird and running a very successful company. So like it's interesting because when they do that court case, they're going to have to essentially prove that Jacqueline doesn't have her faculties, right? But it's very difficult to prove that to the court because the court wants to make sure that they're not handing over power to somebody just willy-nilly, right? The only time that you can it's happened in California a lot. And they've kind of like did some shady shit to get the judge, like Britney Spears, for instance, right? So it does happen. Some people slip through the cracks, but the majority of the time they're very like, you got to prove a lot of crazy stuff before they'll say that they're not capable on their own. Because that's the thing, like Jacqueline's sister isn't living with her, staying with her right now. So what, she wants to be her guardian when she doesn't even see her. She's nowhere near her. Jacqueline seems to be living by herself. She's able to eat, post online, shower, poop, pee, whatever. Like she's seems to be quite capable on her own, and her sister is nowhere near her. So like this is where the court case is going to be interesting.
Thing ever. But I chose for it to come through pain,
Yeah, she does do the starseed crap.
physical suffering, and sacrifice.
Also, she talks about her husband, who's
Yeah, I can't remember how long Jason and Story and all them know, because like I know people like, oh, she hates Jason. Blah, blah, blah. They were all friends and close for years, guys. Like every day they saw each other, talked to each other, helped each other out. Like Jason and Satori actually do know her quite well. They just things went south, right? So as far as I understand it, don't quote me. I believe that she like essentially disowned her sister and her mom. I believe it's the sister and mom. It might be the entire family. I think it might be the entire family. Again, don't quote me. And I think she disowned them like 10 years ago or something, or 15 years ago. Like she has walked away from her family a long time ago. So them coming out of the woodwork, yeah.
name is Sergey. She channels under hypnosis.
Yeah, ayahuasca makes you hallucinate, and yeah, you puke the whole time, you poop yourself, all that. It's like a whole thing. Elton is a Tony Spera mini me. Yeah, like that. What I've said is Tony Spera and Rob Sakadix from Get Haunted. They're both like mob bosses, and they have their own little posses, and then they like control their puppets. They're kind of like puppet masters and mob bosses. And Elton is now the new like Elton's kind of like he's bought his way, like his position as a mob boss, but he hasn't earned it, I don't think, like just naturally. So he's kind of a mob boss in there now too. Like he is definitely pulling some strings. So like it's this weird spider web. I don't know what to call it, spider web, or is it like a puppet show, or is it like a mob boss thing? Like it's got a weird, it does have like certain people have more power in the groups than other people. And yeah, it's interesting. From experience, not good time when it hits. Yeah, like you don't do ayahuasca to enjoy the trip. You do ayahuasca for the experience. A lot of people I know do it trying to reset their like pain receptors. I've heard of different, it's like a 50-50 because I have fibromyalgia, so it's chronic pain. So I have read up on like a bunch of people who have done it for fibro, and like half of them said it helped reset their pain receptors. They weren't like pain free, but like it helped relieve a lot of pain for them because it kind of helped reset the dopamine receptors and different things in the body, um, and the opiate receptors. But like half the other people said it didn't do anything for them and just cost them a lot of money. So it doesn't really seem to be like that effective. However, ayahuasca is apparently, supposedly, really effective for people who are addicts, who they like reset your brain chemistry and stuff, supposedly. So yeah. Um, yeah, that was that comment. Okay, then Cree says, Jacqueline and her sister have been estranged for many years. When people tried to get the sister's help when Jacqueline was doing social media, her sister refused to be involved. I hope there's some proof of that. I do believe that that happened. I think I remember that. I hope there's some proof of that Jason can show the courts. I don't trust the sister coming out of the woodwork. Nope, nope, nope. Not at all. That was one of the reasons I did it. Right, for the trimingle neural. That is very painful, by the way. And PPMS, yeah. The other reason PTSD, yeah, it's supposed to help some people with like mental illness as well, because it's supposed to reset brain chemistry. But like I've done stuff like similar to it in the past before, because my ex was like very much into trying to, I think he was like he was like seeking God or something. He wanted to go on some transcendental experience, and whatever. I was just like, a lot of stuff. I'm like, I'm just humoring him to take it, but I felt so sick every time I would try this stuff. I'm like, this is not enjoyable. I don't know, and I just stopped doing it. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore with you. But yeah, it wasn't ayahuasca, but it was like stuff close to it.
That her husband hypnotizes her.
I also wanted Sergey to join us today because there are a lot of questions, and that's that. Cool.
When you look at who founded Scentbird and the people that are in charge, you'll see that there is a Sergey there who is the co-founder as well. And also, when you look at her recent Instagram, when she has like retreats and stuff like that, you'll see someone who to me
that's
looks
concerning.
like the person who's also the founder. So I
Mm.
think they founded
Okay. No, see, like that's concerning. So, oh God, this picture's kind of creepy. Let me see. There's like a 10-step thing on cults. According to the Cult Education Institute, okay. Absolute authoritarianism without accountability, zero tolerance for criticism or questions, lack of meaningful financial disclosure, unreasonable fears about the outside world, a belief that former followers are always wrong for leaving, abuse of the members, records, books, articles, programs, documenting followers feeling that they're never able to be good enough, a belief that leaders right as all times, a belief that leaders exclusively the one who knows truth. This is what she's doing here. Now, some of this other stuff I don't know. We'd have to see if there's any people from these retreats willing to come forward and speak. But the first sign that someone in the wellness industry is headed towards becoming a cult is when they start doing retreats. When people start doing retreats, this is cult status.
Scentbird together. They're married, and now they're doing this new thing together as well. When you look at the timeline, you'll see that in 2018, two things happened, major things that really changed everything. The first thing is that in spring of 2018, Scentbird got major funding, like over $18 million, which was the most they'd ever gotten. And also, according to Maria, in the summer of 2018, so a month after that, she had what she calls her awakening.
Nothing could have prepared me for my awakening. In my teens, I was already captivated with tarot. I didn't study tarot, but I would get readings done.
Maria says she was, into the spiritual world a little bit, but like, astrology, like Virgo, whatever. I think she is, what is she? I know that she mentioned that her cat was a Taurus.
Hi, baby. You're being really distracting. I really love you, but people need to hear what I'm saying.
He's like such a child of like, he's such a divine child archetype, this cat. He's also a Taurus. So
she had this awakening. And essentially what it is a dream that she then woke up from.
Okay, Dust. Yeah, have a good night. Enjoy. I do like this jewelry though. This look is nice. She's very pretty. She's beautiful.
And started hearing voices.
I was watching a YouTube video one day, and there was this lady who talked about astral projection. People who are quote unquote average would just take the dream as it comes. But she says when you essentially awaken to the fact that you are more than your body, so to say, and you awaken to the fact how much power you actually wield, then what you can do inside of the dream is change your landscape, the dreamscape entirely.
That's all loose. That's just lucid dreaming. That's not magical.
And so my awakening actually happened unprompted when I was on vacation with my parents in Portugal.
She talks about the dream and how it was like she was in this creepy castle, and then she was trying to throw bubbles at it and was like trying to like nice with the bubbles, but then she wasn't strong enough. I think the voice told her she wasn't strong enough for the bubbles yet, and then she started doing something else.
So I started making these pink bubbles of energy between my hands. Don't ask me why. And started throwing them at walls of the castle. And the moment that my pink bubble would collide with the wall of the castle would light up and like turn golden for a quick second. But then the pink bubble would disappear and go through a wall. And then I found myself in the middle of the same morbid, creepy castle. And I hear a voice. And the voice tells me, Maria, you don't have the magic of the pink ray yet. Try using the gold one. Like God spoke to me. Like when I made this like one large golden sphere.
Yeah, this is like crazy talk though. Like that's just a dream.
And I blasted it out, and then the entire castle changed in my dream. It was so beautiful.
And then she woke up and she started hearing voices and she realized that she is like powerful and awake and enlightened.
And then I wake up in the morning, but the voice is still there. I knew that that voice was not me. It sounded male. The voice promised me that I was going to be given the keys to a lot of knowledge and all of that fun stuff. And then there was also some tuning up that started happening, like the voices. First it was one voice, and then it turned into voices. And I was able to receive multiple frequencies that were coming through.
Yeah, frequency stuff is like, yeah, this is the crazy woo-woo
You hear
stuff.
about her awakening story. I kind of think it may have been some sort of psychotic break or something, because she was really stressed out, working nonstop. Like when you read articles of her trying to like sell and pitch Scentbird, like in the years leading up to that huge $18 billion funding thing, dollar, she was like really stressed out and working a lot and been doing that for a long time. So
Yeah, Angie, I have some crazy dreams and visions when I meditate, but I haven't started a cult yet. Sheesh. Yeah, like it just sounds like lucid dreaming. Like I lucid dream, and you can do stuff like that with lucid dreaming. And in meditation, you just kind of let your imagination go wild too, right? Like, but it's not magical or spiritual. It's just your brain.
to go from that to having this huge accomplishment, it's almost like now what kind of situation. And maybe she sort of was like at this crossroads in her life, and she told her parents and she said they were kind of like,
I'm really, really grateful that they didn't disown me. Like you have your normal kid one day, and then she sees a dream, and then she wakes up in the morning like spewing freaking stuff from God, or so she says.
When she told her,
Yeah, like I wonder if she had some kind of break from stress, and this was just her like weird way that she's been able to compartmentalize her life now, and she doesn't know how to go back. Maybe.
twin flame, her husband, he was very receptive. Then he started
Yeah, she's doing this twin flame stuff. Yeah. Okay.
taking hypnosis classes, and then they started hypnotizing each other.
Yeah. Hypnotizing each other. Yeah, this ain't good.
I later found out that the voice that I heard in my dream was the voice of my twin flame. So he was the one to help me through that awakening. My husband, was going through his own awakening, actually almost on the same timeline. And he at the time got curious about hypnosis. So he took a course. Yeah, like it's a very simple technique to get somebody into a hypnosis state. And I took a class as well with him. And we practiced on each other. He was getting me under hypnosis. I was getting him under hypnosis.
And that's what you see when she's like closing her eyes and she's like connecting with her higher self through hypnosis.
The show's about, actually, does she have it? I think she does have it on YouTube. The show's about spirituality. My partner uses hypnosis to bring me into a healing theta state. Yeah. Yeah, this is like, yeah, this is the weird alien culty stuff where I can connect with my higher self. What ensues is an incredible conversation about higher realms, energy work, ancient wisdom. So I grew up in this stuff. For anyone on here who doesn't know me, I grew up in this stuff. This is like this is the woo-woo speak that gets out of control very quickly.
Husband puts her under, and which puts her in the theta state. And that's how she knows like what she knows.
Anytime you guys watch,
I wonder too, like, were they married at the time? Because like letting him hypnotize you, you got to trust. Like people can't really be hypnotized. Like you have to want to be hypnotized, and then you just go for whatever's being told to you, right? Like there's a sense of letting go and letting the other person take control of the situation, like take control of the particular thing that's going on. So you're not really responsible. Sorry, I'm just taking this blanket off because it's hot. Oh God, I heard does my voice sound okay? Because I just heard a static thing go through my headphones. Let me know if my voice goes weird, because then I'll restart the microphone.
video with my eyes closed. I connect to my higher self. I channel her. That I think Sergey, my husband, was taken aback a little bit because.
And the higher self thing is part of this whole thing too. Like, it's so weird because people like ask me to help explain this stuff and like give my knowledge of me growing up in this. And it's just, there's just words that like, these are keywords. There's like words that you recognize, right? It's like if you grew up Christian or something, there's certain words that you hear all the time in church. And that's what I hear. And that's when I recognize, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, I know what path they're going down. And it's hard to tell you guys about it because it's so complex, other than like, I don't know, just pointing out that this is a keyword. I think like I'm struggling to find a way to point these out to you guys because it's a longer explanation. I'm rambling right now. Anyway.
She is powerful. Like when I channel, she's really powerful. She's not shy. Essentially, anytime I was under hypnosis, he could ask me any question, or he could ask my higher self any question. And she literally had answers around anything under the sun. My connection with my higher self has really, really grown. At one point, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to channel without the eyes closed.
Yeah, this does seem like a coping mechanism for her.
Over time, if you do a lot of channeling with your eyes open, but your third eye is really, really activated, your normal eyesight can.
Third eye activated, you're going to see through the third eye, and it's not, yeah, and your normal eyesight can change. This is all keywords.
Worsen. And I need my eyesight because I'm also a writer. Not the book that is, it's in the works. It's my fourth book. And there's unfortunately a lot of them coming. As I was starting to move towards my, third eye assemblage point, I started seeing this very interesting patches of light. Am I having a stroke? What is this? The problem is when I closed my eyes, that sensation was still there. And then the headache came. That's how I knew I'm like, okay.
Well, that's a migraine. You get the lights before a migraine. They're called auras.
Well, it's my assemblage point again. But in other words, when your third eye starts being calibrated, you may get all kinds of weird things in your physical eyesight. So when I was first getting started, one of the first spirit guides that came to me.
And a lot of this too, like people that truly believe this stuff, like this stuff will start happening to them because it is a placebo effect. And placebo effects with these things usually wear off after 1 month to 3 months, and 1 month to 3 months is long enough for you to move on to your next growing phase. So then they don't question it when it wears off.
Was a dragon. I used to climb on his back, and he would take me through portals.
I also noticed that she decided to sort of go public after the COVID thing.
My energy and what I have to share. I invite you on this beautiful journey of exploration.
Yeah, I wonder if COVID was like stressful. Because there's a lot of people that got super stressed during COVID. That all the extroverts in the world, they got like they were struggling
with me, navigating this, third dimensional world, the world of business, the world of struggle, the world of pain, the world of fear, the world of COVID, through the lens of somebody that is a little different, through the lens of somebody that has a higher perspective.
She was in New York. She leaves New York. She goes to Florida. She really, really is into the sun and worships the sun. And she's got sun source energy.
The sun is one of my helpers.
The sun thing is a culty thing that's on social media.
I go way back with sun content.
Although, I mean, you could go pretty far back because Egypt, the first time that a monotheistic religion was suggested was Egypt, and it was a sun god. And it was what's the pharaoh's name again? I forget his name offhand right now. But yeah, like it was all revolved around the sun. And then if you look at like different pagan religions in like Europe, so like old like Gaelic, Celtic, Druidism, things like that, the sun is considered sort of like the god, kind of like shining his light or seed or whatever onto you, including rain, like sun, all that to help things grow, right? And the Mother Earth is like the female because she grows, right? So yeah, there's a lot of like religious context in choosing the sun to worship, and there's a lot of sun cults that have existed over the thousands of eons of years.
Consciousness. I incarnated on the central sun of the Milky Way galaxy in my plasma form. So I love the energy of the sun.
Now, the interesting thing here is that when I tried to figure out the timeline and how this all happened, you'll see that she was essentially in the spiritual closet, right? So like if someone's gay and in the closet, same thing, but like spiritually. So she didn't really want to be open with her beliefs because of what, people are judging her, just like what's happening now, right? So she was doing a podcast with her twin flame slash husband, but like not revealing who she was actually.
So yeah, it wasn't, I see Cree said raw. There was a different one. It was, a 10, and it was a sun god cult in ancient Egypt. And the god's name was a 10. Here, let me see. I can grab it for you guys. Hold on. Ancient Egypt, a 10 god. A10, something like that. Here, let me see. He was part of I believe it was this pharaoh here. I feel like, where's this name? Amenhotep. Yes. And his son, I believe, was Tut, King Tut, that we're all familiar with, right? So what happened is, this is a very interesting story, by the way, guys. So we're just going on tangents at this point now. We're no longer about Matt Rife now. We're just going on my usual tangents. Okay, so this is very interesting. See, a tenism, that's sort of what they followed. So what happened is, this particular pharaoh didn't like how much power the temples had. So the pharaoh actually didn't hold that much power. The churches, temples, they held all the power. People went there to get rations for food. They went there to get whatever supplies they need in the towns. And there's multiple temples all in different districts and everything. They went there for school. All the scribes went there. You went there for healthcare. Like, it was like a town hall, but you went there for all your needs, right? And as part of that, they would, of course, pay the temple and the priests and priestesses for their time, you know? So the pharaoh didn't have any real wealth or power. They were just considered the living god on earth at this moment. And so they were the connection between the underworld and the living world, right? And they were this connection, and showing how they live for their death. Like, everything they create in life is to help them have a better afterlife, right? Because afterlife is permanent, forever, and life is temporary and fleeting. That's sort of how they thought. But this particular pharaoh recognized that the temples were holding too much power, and he actually talked about his concerns about this, and he wanted to rein them in. And when he tried to rein them in a little bit, they pushed back hard. So he pulled the "I'm a god" card, which all pharaohs could have pulled. And he ended up announcing no more, what is it? Phyrofog, forgetting the word. No more multiple gods and goddesses. He was like, no, nobody's allowed. It's illegal now. You're only to pray to Aten. That's it. And in doing this too, you know what else he did is he moved the capital city to a totally different area and started over again. He reset and started over the Egyptian people to escape from the temples, essentially, right? I don't know if he truly believed in this one God thing. There's a lot of speculation that this totally was a political move. But of course, the people don't like change like that. You can't just force change on people's belief systems, you know? So essentially, with that, a lot of people did not like this. But a lot of people also, their belief system was ingrained that he is God on earth. So if he's saying that this has to happen, then this must be what's happening, right? So it was like a split, you know? And of course, the temple leaders, like, they're like, the popes and things and whatever. Like, think about the Vatican, right? And you guys hear stories about how shady the Vatican used to be back in the day. The priests were doing stuff like that. So they were like plotting his death and everything. And he even had like bodyguards and stuff around him to protect him. But people did not like this the whole time. They just kind of put up with it. So after he died, then his son, King Tut, restored everything. Polytheism. This is the word I was trying to remember. He restored polytheism, which is multiple gods and goddesses. And he moved the city back to where it was for thousands of years, right? He's like, okay, I'm reversing everything my dad did, right? And then he didn't remove his dad's face or attend from history. He left it in that city that his dad started, but everyone moved back. But future pharaohs later then destroyed like a bunch of stuff to try to erase that part of history, because that was kind of normal back then too. You kind of destroy like writing and sculptures and things like that to forget parts of history, um so yeah, that's our little Egypt side tangent. This is what ends up happening.
What she looked like, that she was the CEO of Scentbird. Then she has this moment where she stops using her Instagram that has her full name on it. She switches to just "This is Maria." And that one actually is way more popular. She starts posting there and she's like, basically, I'm coming out of the spiritual closet.
Hi, beautiful people. This is Maria. One day back in 2018, I was traveling in Portugal with my parents. My clairaudience opened up. So it was pretty crazy.
Clairaudience is a keyword.
By now I have a lot of the clairs open. So I'm clairvoyant,
There's a bajillion names for different kinds of whatever psychic, prophetic, blah, blah, blah thing that you think you are. And I don't know, like today's day and age is a lot of classification. People were not like defining what type of clair, whatever they were back in the day. Like you were just psychic or not psychic. Like it was just, it's gotten so like refined. But I think part of that is the, the sort of pick me culture, like main character syndrome stuff.
cognizant, clairsentient, all of the clairs. It's been a crazy ride. I went from normal to completely not normal in the span of 3 years. I get so many insights, you guys. My head is about to explode. And I was, up until today in
And with the Egypt stuff, I may have gotten like a few things wrong here and there. I've just been obsessed with Egypt since I was like very, very young. I've always loved ancient Egypt. So I do have a lot of knowledge of it, but I have fibrofog. So I do mess up facts a lot, which is why on my big deep dives, that's why I do a scripted deep dive, because otherwise I would screw up facts and I don't. So when we're live, we're doing this. Just remember, disclaimer, I may get a few things wrong, like just little details, but the main thing I'm usually okay with.
spiritual closet. And so I'm like, well, the world is going to miss out on the fun of this journey. And so, enough's enough. So this is my first post.
Once she does that and she comes out, she starts to basically, monetize it, right? And this is, I think, another thing that people were having issues with, is that it seems to some people that it's more just like another way to make money.
Now, before we dive in, I have a very, very special announcement to make. Really, really happy to make this one, actually. I am starting what I am referring to as the healing circles. Go to the tab called Live Events. That tab is going to have the list of all of the upcoming Golden workshops, but I love calling them the healing circles.
See, she does do this eye close thing, right? I just wonder sometimes, like, I do think that when people are going through this sort of psychotic, whatever things, coping things that people are doing, sorry, excuse me. So I feel like sometimes with with a good chunk of them, they get clarity one day and realize that they were going through some sort of psychological thing, but they're so far down the rabbit hole that they can't reverse it. Right. And I'm just curious, when I see someone that can only do this stuff when their eyes are closed, I just wonder if this is internalized guilt. Like you can't look at yourself. You can't look into the camera with sincerity because you know that you're now selling BS. Like I do wonder that sometimes. Same. We actually built an ancient Egypt village when I was 10 in school. I was obsessed ever since. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to be an archaeologist. Like I loved Indiana Jones and all that stuff too. I know it's silly Hollywood, but I just love history. And then when I met with my guidance counselor and learned about like how rare it is to actually make money in that field, I was like, oh, okay. It's really cool history. Never tired of hearing about it. Yeah, I love history. And that's the thing. I like to get all the facts right. So I love just talking about it freely and openly in like a live stream or something. which is, I'm saying like, go ahead and fact check me because I'm sure I got something wrong. But when I do like the big scripted videos, I go deep dive, but then it's like, there's so much work involved in that. And every time I do a history video, it just doesn't really take off that well. Like not as many people enjoy it, but I love history. I don't know. We could do like a history stream or something, maybe like once a month just for funsies.
Audiobook is out. It's called 72 Keys to Manifestation, or An Ancient Path of a Modern Day Alchemist.
Oh, yeah. No, this seems very monetized. Manifestation, that's a whole, like a lot of MLM stuff turned into like these business coaches, and then these business coaches are just BS, and now there's a lot of manifestation coaches, and the manifestation coaches, they did pop up during COVID because a lot of people were struggling during COVID. And now manifestation coaches are just like the new snake oil salesman, but to a whole level, because a lot of them will end up starting retreats. And when you start a retreat, it starts getting culty. So the keys is keyword. Actually, 72, I believe, is a magical number. Manifestation keyword, obviously. Modern day alchemist keyword. Ancient path. Those are also keywords that were used. Like I grew up initially with Rosicrucian, and we were following an ancient path and all this stuff, ancient order,
I wholeheartedly invite you to download it, read it if you haven't already. So I was listening to music, and I like loud music in my headphones, but I started channeling a new healing modality. It's a hybrid between dance therapy, like intense dance therapy, sound, light language, and then hardcore spirituality, where I'm able to pinpoint the parts and aspects of me that are coming through for healing. And through dance and voice and sound, release the trauma. You may tell me, Maria, okay, shamanic dancing, ecstatic.
To be fair, there is actually some therapy around dancing and singing and stuff to release trauma, but she's monetizing it, and yeah, just admit you had a break in reality, and now thinking clearly, it's better than continuing to sell the BS. Yeah, no, I agree. That'd be amazing. History is my favorite. We need to know it to learn from it. Yeah, that's what I always say. Like people like, oh, don't talk about the dead. Like, Sylvia Brown or Ed Warren being into young women. But it's just like, well, we need to talk about some stuff. Otherwise we repeat history. But then it's like, I understand though. See, I understand like with true crime, like content that starts getting like, there's morality around it, and it's become very exploitative, and they're exploiting people who died in horrible ways. And the way they die also leaves trauma on the family and friends. So like, I feel like that's inappropriate. But if I'm talking about someone who's a shitty human when they were alive and they're dead now, I don't see why we aren't allowed to talk about that. Because if we don't talk about shitty humans, we don't learn from our history, right? Like, I understand not wanting to talk about, like, not wanting to monetize like a vicious crime. That makes sense to me. But like talking about history, we've always talked about history. That's like courses in school too, right?
Dance exists. Like, what the hell? Like, people have been doing this, like all of these things. Yes. However, like, have you ever seen people being able to use dance to release trauma from the third eye? Like stuff like slavery came up for.
Not third eye, but yes, dance is a known thing for trauma.
Me and my lineage and my root. And it was just all through the movement. I want to do.
I don't know what her lineage is, but I do believe that a lot of the voodoo dancing was a core aspect with voodoo stuff. From what I remember when I was researching it, like the main priestess like dances to, and like says a bunch of stuff and sings and whatever, and encourages a ancestor to enter her body so that they can then perform whatever ritual that they're trying to do, things like that.
3 experimental.
Hello, Sir Real One. We do need to talk about stuff for sure. Yeah, shitty humans need to be put in the forefront. Yeah, like I feel like if you were a shitty human, you're gonna get talked about after you die.
Sessions in person to test out and to play with this new modality that I've just downloaded. You bet you we're gonna heal some deep stuff. The energy exchange for this is gonna be $250. That's what spirit.
Okay. No, she has to know what she's doing, right?
Wants to charge for this. It's not really me, because it's really spirit and the universe.
Wait, what?
Be $250. That's what spirit wants to charge for this. It's not really me.
That's insane, right? I've never heard that from one of these snake oil salesman people. I've never heard that in my whole life. Blaming spirit for the price that you want to charge. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what?
Because it's really spirit and the universe that's working with you. It's not really me.
So then who gets the money? Does the money go to your bank account? Wow, no, this is like, wow, holy shit.
That's the only, that's really the only way to work with me in person outside of my one-on-one treat.
She doesn't really say something costs something. She'll say it's like an energy exchange. There's like this one on
Well, how about I make you some chili? Because that actually is carbohydrates and energy, but dollar bills are not.
one retreat thing that she does where it's like $125,000.
What? This is insane. I should do a deep dive on this chick, right? And she just slipped it in. Like, yeah, hold on. I can highlight your comment. Yeah, like the way she just slipped it in, that's like, come on. You know what you're doing. Like she's knowingly being a grifter. That's always like anyone who watches my channel regularly, I'm always trying to figure out if someone is knowingly grifting or if they truly believe their delusion. Because I've been in this my whole life and it's one or the other, right? There are a lot of people, that truly believe their delusion. But no, the way she slipped that in, yeah, what does spirit want with cash? Exactly. A grifter is a grifter. She knows what she's doing. Yeah. Chili beans can for sure create some energy. Yeah, exactly. Yes, please deep dive on this lady. Yeah, this is insane. She also said that her lineage. Okay, no, I'd have to Google that. Yeah.
It's called the hero's journey. And basically it's like, do you feel the call for change and bone deep yearning, breakthrough, readiness? Like, are you ready to become the hero of your own story, my dear one? I have something special for you. If so, I have something special for you.
This is insane. Karmic structure, lineage, mental past life. Like you've got all the keywords in here, which sometimes I do because I do know SEO because I was working marketing for a while. Like I had my own like small marketing firm, and these are the keywords so that your website pops up too, because you want to be at the top. Yeah, these are all keywords. Even SEO speaking, deep dive is a keyword too. Disharmony, belief structures, future outcomes, desire, light language. That's the alien stuff. Pressure points, energy infusion techniques, channeling, guided meditation, plant medicine. Ooh. I really don't like people who give advice on herbal stuff, vitamins, minerals, supplements, and diet. Those things can actually kill somebody. It's one thing to do the woo-woo crap and meditate and convince someone of something. Like that's one thing. But like when you're telling someone what to put in their body, people can die from that stuff. It's like I'll tell you guys different things I'm trying out for like fibromyalgia, but I'm just kind of sharing my journey with stuff. But I like my mom is a master herbologist, and I grew up in a household where like it was always herbal medicine first, real doctors only if like in big trouble. It's like I do have a lot of knowledge there, so I do a lot of research, but I would never like sell supplements or recommend something. I would just be like, hey, I'm trying this right now. I guess we'll see how it goes. And then I'll give you guys like, I'll be like, hey, this seems to be working for this or whatever. But yeah, this is like one of those things. I do want to explore something like this year. where I want to go after like wellness pushers and supplement pushers and stuff like that. What kind of habits Spirit has that cost $250? How about I just send an ounce of AAA cannabis? Yeah, she knows exactly what she's doing. Yeah, no, she does for sure. I got to see her eyes when she talked about making money. Yeah, I feel like she is like, I think she's very, like very aware of what she's doing. And I do think that there's something odd about her hiding her eyes, because I can usually also tell when someone's lying a bit, but I need to see like their eyes and stuff, like with their face, because I see like the minute things. Um, and her hiding her eyes, that's a red flag.
Welcome to the hero's journey. It's like this inner quest. And she's like basically telling people, hey, if you have money and you resonate with the stuff you're seeing of me online, let's do a one-on-one. She's like, who is this best for?
Jeez.
Entrepreneurs, leaders, business owners, influencers, executives, wealthy individuals. What's next?
Yeah, and this is what ends up happening, because people who are at this high level who have this much money to just throw away, like they're usually very stressed. They're usually struggling work-life balance, relationships, things like that. And they're usually desperately looking for a quick fix. And a quick fix is like a weekend with one of these snake oil salesmen. And it makes them feel good for like, a few months until the placebo effect wears off, right? Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, I had one person leave a message on my Teresa Caputo video. So I ended up showing who trained, quote unquote, uh Teresa Caputo, and she's like making shadows on the wall with her body, and people believe it's angels. And I'm like, are you what is wrong with these people? So I show clips of it. I'm like, why does anyone believe this? And then somebody commented on that, and they were like, I went to her for 10 years and she helped me with my pain and trauma. It's like, yeah, you kept getting a dose of placebo. Like, if you keep going back, you're going to get a dose of placebo, which is fine or whatever if it works, but you're paying that person hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. And that's the ripoff here. It's crazy. Hey, Alexis.
Next, people who have money and they're basically like, what do I do now? Right. And think about it. She got this $18 million funding thing. So she made it.
Yeah, like when she had her sunglasses on, she wasn't ever looking directly at the camera too. She kept like moving her head up and down. Yeah. Like I'll do that sometimes when I'm just talking off the top of my head. I'll kind of look away and stuff. But my camera is attached to a monitor where I can see myself talking. And so when I'm free-forming it, I see myself, but when I'm scripting it, it's a teleprompter. And I feel like when I see myself, I get like a little bit cringed out and then I look away. Um but yeah, no, like she was like looking real far away from, I don't even think she looked on the camera at all during that one clip. This is like the worst freeze frame.
Now what? A lot of times when people get to that point of success, they're like, okay, wait, and she's young. So she's like, well, now what's life about? Successful people who, despite having the money, don't feel fulfilled and are looking for their true purpose. Anyone looking for answers, clarity, soul aligned guidance, and people who want to deep dive into their hidden and subconscious aspects and that they resonate with her work and energy and they want more. So this could be stuff that she went through.
Oh, okay, good. Thank God. I just saw late stage terminal disease and I was like, wait, okay, who is this not a fit for? Oh, she knows what she's doing. Anyone with a late stage terminal disease looking for a magic pill, anyone not willing to put in the work to achieve their goals, which a lot of the work will be placebo stuff. But there is an aspect of healing with meditation, but you don't need to pay someone $120,000 to do that. Meditation can heal you. Like even my doctors now recommend meditation. It's like a recognized thing, but you don't need to pay someone to do it. You can do it on your own. Anyone not willing to give up meat? Oh, yeah, okay. So she's advising on diet, which I really don't agree with. And alcohol for 21 days leading up to the retreat. Wow. Anyone who needs to borrow money to be able to participate in the program. This list, this tells me that she knows what she's doing. She's making sure that she doesn't take on anyone that would be like a danger and die on her. Yeah, Alexis, you asked, what's up? What are we doing? So earlier we were making fun of Matt Rife. We watched a bunch of Matt Rife stuff and some dry comedy from Chad and Funky Frog Bait. And then when we were watching one of them, the Scentbird thing came up and I skipped past the ad because I was like, I'm not going to watch an ad for a cult leader. And nobody here knew about the cult leaders from Scentbird. The CEO is a cult leader. So now we're watching video on that. Totally like ADHD sidetrack, but it's interesting.
Okay, she says here clearly who this is not a fit for. Anyone with late stage terminal disease looking for a magic pill, anyone not willing to put in the work to achieve their goals, anyone not willing to give up meat and alcohol for 21 days leading up to the retreat, anyone who needs to borrow money to be able to participate in the program. I thought that was pretty interesting because a lot of times cults that I've followed, when they want money for things, whether it's courses and things that they're requiring people to do and renew and stuff like that, they'll encourage them to borrow money, sell.
Yeah, I don't think this lady is at cult status right now. She's headed towards it, but she's not there right now. She's doing retreats that are one-on-one, and usually like cult status ones, they try to get groups together, right? Because there's something about the group mindset that they take advantage of. I'm going to say that she is heading towards cult leader. Like she's almost there. It's just beginning. But this was a year ago, so I do wonder what she's up to now.
Things, do stuff. They don't care about their financial well-being and whether they put themselves in like a financially tough spot. They just want the money. Here, according to this, she's saying this isn't for you if you need to borrow it. But how much is it? It's $125,000. That's a fucking lot. So what?
And that's saying she might also just be saying that to remove any legal culpability, right? If they lied to me and borrowed money to attend my program, I can't control someone lying to me. Like, you know what I mean?
What is included if you're curious? Maybe someone watching wants to do this. So it's basically 3 days, and this is the
Actually, that is true. Hold on, let me highlight your comment. It's a real one. Those are red flags, though she wants rich people. So what if like that's what she's gearing up to as well? Like having a cult that she wants rich people at. Because then if they're already rich, then it's easy money and she can keep milking them and build from there. Because that would build faster and make more money off them. Yeah. Yeah, she's doing vegan stuff. Lunch conversation break, vegan dinner, opening ceremony, cleansing intention, guided meditation, deep dive into an area of your life. So is this the one-on-one stuff? Oh, Akashic records. Yeah, this is all the crazy woo-woo stuff. See, if the Q&A, if this is the one-on-one, like I think she's just grifting to make money, right? But it could turn into a cult very easily. But if this is a group thing, the Q&A thing is where they find secrets on people and use that against them later as the cult grows bigger. So yeah, that's interesting because that is where you can start collecting secrets from somebody.
sample schedule, right? You get some vegan food, healing sessions, more vegan food, readings, rituals, meditation, healing, and deep diving into your stuff. And then she says here, like at the top, like this is going to be at her home. You can also book a villa in Tulum if you want, but like keep in mind, she says her home is not a 5-star hotel. It's a sanctuary, less luxurious, more wholesome, organic vegan meal.
Okay, so this is more the one-on-one stuff. So yeah, for now, like she's probably just making bank off them. It's less management and work too. Because running a cult requires a lot of like micromanaging, right? But this is on the verge, I think.
Multiple healing sessions, activation through light language, Akashic record, lineage, karmic knots, blah, 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 that whole thing. Past life regression. And she also offers guided plant medicine session if desired, which is the whole ayahuasca thing. Not everyone who does retreats and spiritual stuff is.
Oh, that's the plant medicine. She's offering ayahuasca. Oh.
Leading a cult. You know what I mean? So I was trying to figure out like where's the cult connection, because she does talk about things like, the Matrix and people are NPCs and the architect of the Matrix. She knows him. He's her friend.
Yeah, and this is like the conspiracy theory crazy talk that popped up. like really the QAnon really pushed it a lot, but yeah, it did kind of pop up. I don't know, it did kind of pop up around the time of the Matrix. It's growing into like this beast now.
I am good friends with the architect of the Matrix. Sounds really funny, I know, but it's true. He's one of my spirit guides, is what I'm saying. When things are random, they're not just random, they are randomized by the architect. So everything here is intentional. It is a very well architected game. Essentially, this matrix is like a set of cubes that are located right next to each other, kind of on top and to the sides, right? And again, obviously, the matrix structure, if you guys have studied math, it's like rows and columns is really what the matrix is.
Oh yeah, she has a degree in math. I think she's just explaining math to us.
Is all about, which is kind of like duh. A positive reality I would see as a white cube. A negative reality I would see as a black cube. Black cubes tend to get blacker over time. Cells that are white, they're considered to be healthy cells of the matrix. Whereas there are other cells that are considered toxic. Those are generally black. Black means cells that are harmful to themselves and potentially harmful to others, but in a sense of they experience a lack mentality.
Hi, baby.
You need to read Teal Swan's book called The Completion Process.
Oh, Teal Swan. See, that's one that actually a lot of people have asked me to do. And I thought she was like canceled and done already, but people have told me that no, she's still going. She's still doing her thing.
Or watch her videos about parts work. There, I said it.
Oof. Weird, right? She thinks that, we are actually truly in a matrix, that this is all a game. It's a virtual reality game.
Is this matrix evil? Is it good? The answer is it's neither. It's a game. The matrix is a construct that contains within itself all 12 dimensions. I will tell you something else, which is completely controversial. And who knows if I'll get paid from starseeds based on this. The number
Starseed cult stuff, yeah.
one principle within the matrix is a principle of resonance. What do I mean by that?
So do you think that maybe she's just a cult of personality right now? Like it's not a full cult that she's managing, but she wants to be like seen as a leader, as a like, she wants to be seen and respected as a leader, but she just doesn't want to like manage people physically. So there's a lot of this online where like people are cult leaders and people are also part of groups that act like a cult. There's no real leader, but like the Starseeds is kind of an example of that, right? But it's still damaging. Like they damage each other's psyche and it messes with their real life. And a lot of people don't know that they have friends and family in these online cults until it's too late because they're doing it all online and nobody knew, right? Where's this? Black salt is used to keep evil out. Is there such thing as black salt? I don't think I've ever seen that before. Really? Oh, the Himalaya salt? I didn't really there's Himalayan black salt. I didn't really like use a specific kind of salt when we were doing stuff. Like I'm a witch too, right? But I grew up with all this stuff. Like I don't believe in all the woo-woo, but I'm like, I don't know. Like I have like religion with the witch, whereas like I believe in the earth. You know what I mean? Try to take care of the earth and respect the earth as best as we can in a modern world. I've never heard of black salt, so that's interesting. Friggin' teal swan. Yeah, that's a red flag. When did Teal Swan get outed? Because this person doesn't really seem to be reacting, this YouTuber. Teal Swan timeline. Share tab. Controversies 2010s and 2020s. Like this was only a year ago this video was made. So like why is this YouTuber not like the creator of this video didn't really seem to react to the Teal Swan thing, huh? I don't know enough to say if she's a cult leader or not. Sure feels like she isn't. She's heading that way. Yeah, I mean, she's headed that way. I do think she's maybe like a cult personality right now. Hulu did the documentary 2 or 3 years ago.
You can only attract what you're a vibrational match to.
We don't have Hulu in Canada. I don't think I've seen the documentary, but I've just seen so many people cover it on YouTube.
But the thing is, how did you become a vibrational match to tyranny? How did you become a vibrational match to hate? And the only way that you would be able to do that is because a part of you inside is that. There's no escaping from the matrix.
There are NPCs because there's not enough souls. So there's like players that have souls, and then the NPCs, the non-player characters, are soulless.
Today, I'm
oh, I was muted. Ashley Gillard was doing this stuff too, where she was saying that people were NPCs, or there's NPCs and there was like demons, and then there was shoot, what were the awakened people called? I can't remember, but like, yeah, it went into like detail like this too. I wonder, like, I feel like she's a little kooky. Like, it's not just all, like, I think she's knowingly grifting money, but I feel like she might actually believe some of this stuff.
wanted to talk about non-playing characters, a concept of
Yeah, she does come across as a control freak, like the way that the way she's sitting, her makeup being very like more still, like, considering she's done this for years now in front of the camera, I feel like she's maybe a bit of a control freak with the, like, making sure everything looks perfect. Even with her cat, like, she was a little bit distracted by her cat. I just kind of ignore the cat when she's back there. So, master manipulator. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, let me put that on the screen. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Slight personal attack. What's up with her eyebrows? Remind me of Temple Set. I mean, thick eyebrows are in. You know, for some reason my eyebrows don't grow in anymore, so it's kind of sad because I have the 90s plucked eyebrows. So Anton LaVey, yeah, like a lot of this, that's the thing. Everything is, I was reading something the other day and it was very interesting, where they were saying like everything that isn't Christianity is beginning to blend together online into like this one new religion, where it's like people believe it. It's like you're enlightened, or you're following new age spirituality in some way, but like everything is blending together. And I have been noticing this. So multiple different belief structures and religions and stuff are starting to blend into one thing, and people are turning to that from the church, like moving away from the church into this. So I found it interesting. I can't remember where I was reading it. There's also natural black Himalayan salt from halite deposits. Oh, does it taste different? I definitely believe she's a lot of this earth convinced herself. Yeah, like I think there's an aspect to Delulu with her for sure. I think her husband had a big role in this too. That's what I wonder, because they said that he was learning hypnotism first. Like, I just wonder if he affected her with any of this, you know? Yeah.
NPCs that exist within this larger framework of the Matrix. There are two types of characters that are believed to exist. The first one are players. And players are essentially souls, right, that have avatars. So you would have, like, in this case, a human vessel. Non-playing characters are supposedly characters that are almost like filler. So in order to make worlds, virtual worlds like planet Earth, real to players, the architect has come up with a concept of non-playing characters. But they are all the people that you see around you that are not players, but technically there are no souls associated with them. So from, a particular perspective, there are almost like a bunch of empty beings walking around, and the beings that belong to the Matrix.
A lot of people that believe this are like, I don't like this person's an NPC, or like if someone leaves you bad comments on your like spiritual videos, you're like,
I have seen this a lot more the past year, where people are using NPC as like an insult, right? And I think it's a little crazy because so many people have main character syndrome, and this is part of main character syndrome, or it's adding to main character syndrome, you know? Like, this is crazy talk.
Or an NPC, they don't get it, screw them. She's like, no.
So before you think, okay, these people around me are non-playing characters, they don't have a soul, so I don't care. If your higher self gives its energy to power up 100% of NPCs that are going to be meaningful in your life and in your world, then that means that you are really interacting with yourself over and over and over again. There is a reason.
Okay, like, no, that is like main character energy, man. I don't know if she could have a cult because I don't think that she wants to deal with people like in a group, like, you know what I mean? It feels like she just wants to be the main character, main cult leader, and worship from afar. And this is where I wanted to do I've heard people talk about this cult of personality stuff, and I wanted to do like a deep dive on what that means, and sort of like take a look at it against online, like people online that people worship, right? Because I think that this is what's happening with a lot of stuff. Cult personality, cult leader, result of an effort to create an idealized heroic image of an admirable leader, often unquestioning flattery and through often unquestioning flattery and praise. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's putting someone up on a pedestal, right? And they are a cult leader, but that cult leader never has to interact with the people, you know? And I think we're getting more of this nowadays in an online world. We have more of this happening. So I do find this topic fascinating, and I did want to explore it some more.
Reason why abuse may have happened in your life, and that is probably a reflection of a part of your soul. Oh, I'm going to get so many Rotten Tomatoes for this.
The architect thing that she is using, this is the conspiracy theory community is using this, and it's based on the Matrix movie. It's literally based on the Matrix movie. It's silly.
It's like, how dare you blame the victim, Maria? I'll tell you this. All I'm here to do is shine the light. If that doesn't work for you, that doesn't work for you. That is a choice. The only way you align with an abuser is because your higher self has that inside of them to even align you with.
The other thing that people talk about is she really does this, like what your hair color means, what your eye color means.
Today we're talking about
This is starseed stuff.
how your hair color impacts your energy. You know, there are a few folks that have been skeptical about this whole situation. A lot of brown-haired people are very heart-led instead of intellect-led. So it's hard for people with black hair color.
So it kind of seems like when she's channeling and her eyes are closed, she's just like spewing a bunch of random crap. But when her eyes are open, she was looking in the camera, she was explaining sort of like the architecture of her belief system, which is based around mathematics, which she has a degree in. So maybe she felt more confident talking about it. But I think that she's also trying to take a page from that. Who's that guy that channels that alien? What's his name? I do have to cover him. Let me find him. It's Bashar. Bashar does this. He like closes his eyes and then he's like makes this weird bodily thing, kind of snaps into place, and then he's like talks in this new voice. He's like, hello, blah, 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 blah. It's like the weirdest intro. I showed it on like one of my videos, my starseed video that I did. Yeah, Bashar is crazy.
To be intuitive in decision making. They're also not as good at discernment. Things like dancing and moving their body comes very naturally. Things like sports come very naturally. Actually, with a lot of brown-haired people, there are also people that are very easily excitable. They also have addictive personalities. So a lot of them kind of like fall up by the wayside. A lot of, I'm gonna get so much heat for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. A lot of, like I said, an addictive personality. So a lot more brown-haired people are likely to be addicted to things like alcohol, for instance. Let's talk about,
I don't know, not to be like mean or anything, but there's a lot of trashy blonde people who drink a lot that I've met in my life. Okay, so typically cult leader use like 2 or 3, inner circle people, sometimes 4. Yeah, like that's typical. I think she's trying to do the cult of personality. Like she doesn't want to even deal with those 4 people. Like even when that thing where you can sign up with her, that seems to be like a one-on-one only, and then this $250 thing seems to be through like the internet. So I think she doesn't like to be around people too much. So I don't think that she'll want actual people like in a compound. Although, well, she's doing the retreats though. So I guess I wonder what Yeah, because she was around people in those retreats. I'm a ginger, therefore I have no soul, so I must be NPC. I do have freckles because you could be a daywalker. This attitude will explain why people are becoming more violent and uncaring towards others. Yeah, they see people as NPCs rather than real human beings. That is true. That is, I feel like that is what's happening. Like the whole world, for whatever reason, the internet is like, I don't know. There's a lot of people who the internet has changed their way of thinking to insanity levels. Like it's changed their whole morality. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Bashar. Yeah. I will say her voice is annoying. Can we have a special effect to make her sound like she's huffing helium? Oh, I think that might be more annoying.
The blonde haired people usually feel things like deeper. It's like they have 10 layers deep in their heart. Really impressive innovation coming. And like,
But see, now she's just quoting stuff from the Starseed lore, and the Starseed lore, like originally when it was created like during its origins is from like World War II. You know that guy with the dumb mustache. So its origins are from that. Like the Aryan culture, and it grew from there, and then it became like a new agey thing in like the 70s or 80s, I think 70s, and then it kind of kept growing. It's not so obvious that it's racially motivated, but it is highly racially motivated, and it favors people with blonde hair and blue eyes, and this is the starseed crap, and it just seems like that's what she's quoting right now. I mean, paraphrasing.
just really avant-garde, like at the forefront, like trend-setting stuff sometimes comes out of the blondes, and you're like,
Yeah, no, I understand, like, the cult leaders don't really do anything, but I'm talking, like, I think, like, there's, like, this new kinda cults coming out where they're doing it all online, you know? And they don't have to deal with physical people around them, but they're still running a cult, and the people just don't live near them, around them, like, they live on the other side of the world. But they're still cult leaders, and they're fleecing people for money, and they're doing whatever and building up, like, loyal followers, and, it's happening a lot online is what I'm saying, and it's still the same psychological, um, issues and, like, situation it's hard to pull people out of. Like, it's just as hard to pull people out of than a real cult, like an in-person cult. It is a real cult though, right? I feel like it's a different kind of cult, but it's also very much like a full-on cult.
wow, this is fantastic. I don't know how you did it. Redheads are a little bit like rebels and rule breakers by definition. The challenge of the redheads is their health. On the shadow side of this, of the brown, you may be prone to quitting, so not taking things to fruition, right? Brown-eyed people have a lot of stamina. They have higher than normal pain threshold. A lot of extraterrestrials.
Okay, no. That is a really old racial bias that comes from days of slavery. And that was adopted even now in a lot of training of doctors and this, that, like there's still like training documents out there that explain that African Americans have a higher pain threshold, and that's why they don't get the same amount of pain medication when they're giving birth and stuff. That this attitude is the original attitude. This started with World War II. To incorporate this, actually no, this started actually way before, like before slaves were free. They believed all this stuff, right? It's just like modern day gynecology and childbirth and things like that. A lot of our modern day stuff was created by they took slaves and then experimented on them to figure out how to help women when they could have just had women help each other, but whatever. Male doctors, have to make things harder on everyone. This is a video I want to talk about is like do like a something talk about women's health and the history of it. But anyways, this is old beliefs from times where they experimented on slaves for healthcare. And then that was adopted further, and there's still doctors that adopt this theory about yeah. And then like it's in the starseed thing, because the starseed thing is based around It is very racist, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's a racial bias. Yeah.
Extraterrestrials would have blue eyes. Blue-eyed people may feel more connected to God. You're very intellectual. Actually, the blue-eyed people are very connected to the intellect. That's your air, right?
Yeah. And the blue eye, blonde hair, she's just paraphrasing starseed bullshit.
Connection. So you're very brainy. Blue-eyed people are very likely to have depression. Now, brown-eyed people are the most likely to have anxiety. So there you have it. It's not like, yeah, it is what it is. You're very likely connected to Lemuria. You may be connected to planet Sirius. You may be connected to planet Arcturus if you have blue eyes.
This is starseed stuff, like for real.
You may be connected to, you may feel a special affinity to dolphins and whales and mermaids. Green eyes are pretty much the most twitchy eyes that exist. A lot of the Celts had green eyes. You're very connected, like I said, to the elementals, but you're most connected probably to the Elven Kingdom, the gnomes.
But there were certain specific things that I saw
Now she's talking about elves and gnomes. My goodness.
people having an issue with. There was the one which, by the way, trigger warning, when she talks about pregnancy loss, miscarriages, stuff like that. People really didn't like that.
Today we're going to be talking about the spiritual.
There's a psychic. I'm gonna do a deep dive. I've been working on something, and she is very negative, and she will tell people about like all these babies and stuff on the other side, and it's insane when people do this. Like it messes with people's psyche so badly. Hey, Lorley, welcome to the chat. Oh, I'm so connected to gnomes.
And energetic reasons for miscarriage. The only thing probably prior to that would be just a quick reminder that I have a book. I wrote a book. One of the reasons why you may be having a miscarriage is the fact that whoever is your current partner in the moment, right? Like whoever is the father essentially of this baby is not a good match for you. If you have deep concerns
No, you should just see a doctor if
around motherhood or the kind of mother that you are, it may cause your body to miscarry. That deep set worry that the baby is going to take something away from you, whether that is your beauty, whether that is your, I don't know, life, so to say, right? Like your free time or whatever, like that worry that having a baby is inconvenient actually may cause you to miscarry.
And she's very powerful. She has all this knowledge. It's not that she's awakened, she's enlightened.
I was just Googling to see, there's some racial bias stuff that she's doing. So I wanted to understand her a little bit on that sense. But apparently, oh God, yeah, I'm finding some stuff that apparently she doesn't think that the man from World War II with that mustache is evil. She doesn't agree that he's evil. And then apparently she goes on a rant about how you can heal yourself of cancer within 1 week. And women are responsible for their own miscarriages. Yeah, okay. We're just talking about that right now. Jesus.
And she's like high vibration.
I did incarnate as a fairy
I hate this high vibration bullshit.
quite a few times. I do remember that. In the inner earth, the two types of beings that came through the past couple of days have been very different to me. So the first kind was the earth elemental, and so essentially I was talking to dryads. So dryads are essentially spirits of the trees. I see them as women. Well, although they're kind of,
And this is where like this is what I was saying, like all these religions and all these spiritual stuff and all this history is starting to meld together. What she's talking about here right now is more like the stuff I follow, like not that I believe in this stuff, but like it comes from our history of like Celtic stuff and Celtic lore and like Vikings and Norse stuff. Like now she's combining it with this Darcy BS. This is insane. Gnomes unite, yeah. 18 is evil or was. I don't know. Pissed me off to say you have miscarriage because you're with the wrong man. Yeah, that is a ridiculous statement. I don't like, yeah. Fellow fibro sufferer here. Yes, definitely. Woo woo lady. Yes, welcome to the fibro camp. There's a bunch of us with fibro. Also, if I start talking like worse, I'm getting cotton mouth from my medicines. I can feel it. So I'm trying to. As womanhood, numerous miscarriage, always blame ourselves. We don't need a psycho blaming us as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 1 equals A, equals H. Oh, to talk about the little man with the mustache. Gotcha. Yeah, this is crazy talk. And the thing is, like, she's pulling this from other online communities. Like, she wasn't the one who came up with this. This is old, like, Starseed crap, the racist stuff and the women stuff. This is like, it goes way back. So, like, none of this stuff is original. And this is what always gets me. People, like, comment on my Sylvia Brown video where I exposed Sylvia Brown for, like, being a liar. Everything was a lie. And people are like, oh, well, she taught me spiritualism and she must be real because she understands reincarnation and blah, blah. I'm like, you guys realize that she took stuff from existing spiritual practices and knowledge and just wrote a book about it. Like, these weren't her ideas. This was stuff she took from history. And that's what this lady's doing, right? And probably Teal Swan.
Have green skin and like green hair, and they're kind of cool. When I say I see them, I don't see them with my physical eyes. Just wanted to make that disclaimer. I see them with my third eye right here in my head. And thank God, because if I saw them with my actual eyes, I think I would freak out and I would take myself to a psychiatric facility, I think. Yeah, because once in the early days when
That's weird to say considering everything else you're saying.
my clairaudience started awakening, I started hearing voices like with my actual physical ears. I freaked out. I slept with my lights on for 3 days. And so my guides never talked to me with their physical voices after that. I bowed to the tree and then I bowed again because it's like.
See, and that kind of sounds like she had a psychotic break at one point, you know? Like, I feel like a psychotic break, then she just was all in and didn't want to admit something, you know? Like, this is crazy. Definitely same, been up early in UK, not long had meds, fiber fog, a nightmare today for me. Yeah, the fiber fog is hitting hard. Yeah. Sylvia Brown yawns, yeah. You already need a psychiatric facility. Yes, she does. Yeah, she does.
This tree is just awesome. And apparently that is what prompted them to talk to me. They're like, oh, she's not stuck up. We can talk to her. What came through to me in meditation were the undines. The undines are actually spirits of the water. And I live right by the river. And so they live here on the property as well. And I met with 3. And they're not mermaids because the difference between mermaids and undines essentially.
I think she believes half of what she's saying. She needs psychiatric help.
They kind of look the same, only the undines can grow the mermaid tail or grow the 2 feet, however they see fit.
Today we're doing a Q&A video that I
also, like, this is one thing a lot of people mistake too. Like, she is very smart. She has a degree. It's in computer science, marketing, and mathematics, right? A lot of people, like, the line between genius and insanity is they're very close together. A lot of geniuses are in, like, they act insane, they go insane, like they're on the brink, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people assume just because someone's smart that there's no way that they could be having psychotic breaks. But a lot of times people who have very high IQ deal with more like psychotic breaks or like bipolar sort of swings, things like that. Like, it tends to happen with very intelligent people too.
I've been wanting to do for months, I feel like.
Yeah, the only mermaid I believe in is Stevie. Agreed.
Can a higher self be evil?
Not from source perspective, it's not.
So interesting. So
and evil is just a matter of perspective. Like, look at Hitler. He's one of the poster children for like being an evil person. Do you know how many millions of souls benefited from learning from the experience that he has created? So here you may put, like, look at a character like him and be like, oh, he's completely evil. And upstairs, his experience was one of the greater, sources of knowledge of 3D planet Earth warfare. And that is benefiting so many different souls on their evolutionary path. So is he evil? Not really. I don't think so.
Souls on their evolutionary path is starseed jargon.
So interesting.
Well, do you want me to give you an even better example?
Yeah.
Do you think playing World of Warcraft is evil because you're killing things?
Like in a computer game?
Yeah.
People don't think it's evil, yes.
I know. Same logic. It's a computer game from.
Yeah, and people running around nowadays with this kind of thinking, and they don't see anything wrong with people getting hurt. Like, this crazy thinking.
Higher self level. I mean, you go in.
I just sped it up a little bit because I was getting bored a little bit. Like, not when she's talking. I find this stuff like weird. Just when the person is presenting it. So I sped up just 1.25. It's not hugely sped up.
You may have murdered 1,000 beings on a screen,
Still
and then
talk
you go on your
fast.
merry way, and nobody's pointing a finger at you at work and being like, this is a mass murderer. But how is that any different?
Wow, that's a very different perspective. Yeah, mind blowing, actually.
Another thing that people were having issues with is the videos that she does talking about being overweight.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to Conversations with My Higher Self. In this
Oh, I
episode,
think I
we're going
heard
to
about
talk about the
this weight
spiritual
stuff.
reasons for being overweight. Very often, what I find on the energetic level, somebody who has excess weight is somebody who is seeking to protect themselves from the outside world. Because of that, you are creating insulation material in the form of fat tissue. Why do you want that? Why do you need those barriers? Why have you created them? And you have created them very, very successfully. Very often, somebody with excess weight is going to have issues around victim mentality. They think like a victim. They talk like a victim. They perceive themselves like a victim. Once you establish like a steady stream of energies from Gaia, you will notice that you don't want to reach out for that.
She said Gaia, and that's like the old ancient religions. I think it even goes back to Greece, I believe, and then like Celtic and stuff, I believe, adopted it too. Like she's mixing a lot of stuff.
That sandwich.
So for me, okay, I feel like, yeah, it's weird, kind of funny. I laughed a lot when I was editing it. There were times where I was like, this is really fucked up. And then there were times where I was just like, I don't think this is a cult yet. Are we in the beginning stages of something? And because like, this is the thing, right? Whenever you look at an actual cult, they all start out like this. And then there's a lot of things that start out like this that never turn into cults. Do you know what I'm saying? Am I missing the part where it's a cult?
It is a cult, but I think it's a cult of personality. That's what I think it is. For now, you know.
Cult. I don't know. So I started looking, okay, what are things that make it a cult? If you're like being told to isolate from your family, if they're trying to take crazy amounts of money from you, if there's things that are happening where they're like not letting you sleep, controlling how you eat, controlling your lifestyle, stuff like that. That's like culty stuff. So I didn't see where she's controlling people. I didn't see where she is isolating people from their family. Whether or not you think this is a cult or the beginnings of it or just whatever, some kind of money-making scheme, that's up to you to decide. The one thing that is kind of like common that everyone is saying is that, she's a little wacky. It's her beliefs are a little off. And I guess it's jarring for people to see a company that a lot of YouTubers are pushing and talking about. And then you see that the person who is the CEO of this company has beliefs that you would never think because, fragrance, and she seemed so normal, whatever that means. So my thing has always been like, listen, if you're into weird shit, good for you. I don't care. I just don't like when people try to push their beliefs onto other people or take advantage of people. Like that's
Cree, like that's what I think a lot of these like online cult personality types is sort of like televangelists. Yeah, like send me money, I'll enlighten you. But are we ever going to meet in person? Probably not, kind of thing. Like, yeah, I could see that. Maybe she goes on tour one day and like does weird things like what do you call it? Like those mega churches. That's what I heard. I heard that there is a true crimer who had been doing these like true crime tours for a number of years now. I've never heard of her before doing this. Well, I never really heard of her until I started working on the Idaho 4 stuff. And then I found her. And then I heard now, because I was criticizing Eleanor for her tour, and I did a video on that. And people are telling me that Anna Elise, she's been doing a murder tour like this for a number of years now. And people told me that it apparently, she has it laid out like a mega church thing. It's like a weird spectacle. So I want to explore that a little bit more because that's crazy. Yeah, Annie Elise, I believe that's the one that people told me about. And people are like, yeah, it's very inappropriate. Like it's like a mega church televangelist, weird, crazy thing. Very, yeah, it's just messed up.
Where it's a problem for me. And that's why the things that I talk about with these weird beliefs are when they do those things. When I don't see any of that and someone is just like, expressing what they believe, like, dude, it's a free country. Like, that's the whole point, is to be able to do shit like that. That's why I can talk about it and you can say it and you can talk about me and I can say it. That's the point, right? So this in itself, it's weird, but I don't think it's a cult personally. Let me know what you guys think. Okay,
Mhm.
then no.
I think it's a cult of personality right now, but it has potential to become a cult. Yes. And yeah, all of the YouTubers pushing it is a little concerning, right? Because already YouTubers themselves are like a cult of personality, right? People like their favorite YouTuber, and they'll kind of follow them, and some people will be like, yeah, I'm here for you, yeah, I got your back, like it becomes like this parasocial relationship, right? So if your YouTuber is like pushing a cult leader, it's like it's just sometimes you have those fans that get like really parasocial, and those are the ones that are kind of like, okay, you probably need to seek help, right? um and then if you're pushing a product that's tied to someone who's essentially acting and talking like a cult leader, like there's a level of morality there, right? But like, to be fair, I haven't seen Swoop push Scentbird in a long time, so I would hope that she knows about Scentbird, but she probably hasn't done a documentary on them because she did use them as a sponsor, and I bet there's probably a bit of that, like where you don't want to do a documentary on potential sponsors because it ruins your chance of other sponsorships with other companies, maybe. Other YouTubers have already outed her. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers that have outed her, but a lot of big ones haven't, and they're still doing sponsorships with Scentbird. So is Crime Junkie, my favorite. Murder, Kendall Ray. Talia is not cool on YouTube. Just did a video about Eleanor Neal tour and brought this all up. Talia is not cool. I'll have to check out Talia is not cool. Yeah. Um, Wait, the other true crimers did a video on Eleanor Neal? I don't know. I think if you're a true crime presenter, you don't really have a soapbox to stand on for stuff like this. I had tacos typed out. Oh, I missed what you said. It's okay. I enjoy old crime unsolved stuff from time to time. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. It's difficult to be ethical with true crime in the state that it's in right now, and that's why I want to do more videos discussing it. It's not just YouTubers, like it's like documentaries being made too, like on Netflix, that monsters documentary stuff. Not really documentary, whatever, it's like fiction, it's all fiction. But like the Ed Gein season was atrocious to the victims. It like completely destroyed the story, so it was messed up. I think the whole true crime. That's why I just don't think that right now, like there are a couple people I still watch, but I'm just thinking like, I don't know if it's even ethical anymore at this point. It's tough. And game is really bad. Yeah. I'm gonna do a video on each of the monster seasons because they have a bunch of them planned out. Like there's like 10 more already signed up. They've already released like ads showing the images of who they've got signed on for the actors for them. So I'm curious if they're going to move forward, because Ed Gein was outed real bad, and a lot of people are criticizing it. So I do wonder if they're going to do more. But so what I was planning to do was like a video on each of the seasons. I wanted to start with Ed Gein just because it's on like the top of everyone's mind for discussing the problems with this type of content, because Ed Gein was like the most atrocious one in a long time, right? And then I was going to sort of work backwards on the monster stuff, maybe go from like Ed Gein backwards and then show how like the progression, like it like was lower. Just normally I like to start at the beginning, but I think I want to talk about Ed Gein first because Ed Gein was really bad. Is it okay to have a sponsor who's wacko but the products are good? I feel like if they were wacko and not hurting anybody, I wouldn't care so much. But I just feel like this woman here is hurting people because she's giving them advice on diet. She's doing ayahuasca journeys with them, and she's not a shaman. So if you do that, like that stuff does mess with your brain. And if you do that with someone who doesn't know what they're doing and can't guide you through your hallucination, it can actually mess with you. Like it can actually mess you up. So I feel like she's dangerous to the public. I feel like if they're dangerous to the public, that's when I would say no. Well, I'll see you guys in the next whatever chat and stream stuff. You know, we see everyone everywhere. And I'm just going to end with a thank you to all the members, patrons, and supporters. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, share it out as well. It helps the channel grow. And I will see you guys live in the next, I don't know. We'll see how many more days I need to work on this. Fat cat.